Phil, a big congratulations. You know,
Thank you.
so many times at the table, it seems like you are the one in control. You're able to rattle your opponents. It looked for a second, though, that you were the one getting rattled.
Antonio had me totally rattled. I've never beat him before. He crushed me up in San Francisco. He crushed me at the series. I did show him 2 kings, though, and I was more worried about him than anybody else. Huck Seed and I had a great match, and Antonio had me reeling. I mean, it's like I was on the floor, but fortunately, they didn't call the whole 10 count. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I staggered back up to my feet. But the way he moves his chips, he has so much talent, and he can show you a 7-3 offsuit and then 2 aces. And then when he shows you 2 aces, it goes like this, and it's a little spooky. You're like, ah. So, I was really, really worried. And, Antonio, I just held over him. The last hand, I flopped a set. When you see the tape, that hand, I had top 2 kings and queens when I moved in on him. I don't know if he was bluffing or if he had a hand, but I had top 2 that hand with the king, queen, 6 deuce. And so, yeah, my hat's off to TJ, and my hat's off to Antonio, and he had me reeling, you know.
So then that must make that win so much sweeter for you. Are you ready to say, okay, now, maybe?
I told my wife before we played the match, I said, look, Antonio's really tough. And I said, at least one thing, I'm going to beat him a few pots finally. So at least I can dispel that. But it started out, he beat me, called me with king high, made a really good call. At least 3 times he made great calls against me, and I kept trying to bluff him, and, finally maybe I got away with a bluff or 2. But, I'm not ready to say I'm the favorite. I'm going to be playing either world champion Chris Ferguson or TJ Cloutier, and both of these guys are on the top 4 in money won at the World Series of Poker. So they've been around a long time and they know their business.
When you get up from the table like you did, is it because you're shaking a bit or because you are trying to cool off?
I'm trying to cool off, and Antonio played me just perfect. He raised me. I was reeling back, and if I went to hit a hand, he would have beat me because I was starting to lose it a little bit, just a little bit. And I said, finally I counted my chips. I said, look, you still have 210,000. Don't panic yet. But I was getting a little worried there. Antonio can beat anybody, so.
Phil, this question is coming. Are you the best player in the tournament? Who is the best player in the tournament?
No comment on that. If I can win this thing, then people will think that I'm pretty good, and that's the goal. Again, the last time at the World Series of Poker, I had the chip lead. I'd won 2 tournaments. I was just kicking butt. I broke all the records, and I said, I'm going to prove to everybody I'm the best player in the world, and I fell flat on my face. So no outrageous statements like that. I just want to try to play and survive, and I have one more match to go.
Congratulations. Good luck. Chris, congratulations. Did it feel like a replay of the 2000 World Series?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm playing a lot better than I did in 2000. I've learned a lot since then, so I was happy to see TJ again, and I congratulate him. He's just such a fantastic player. I'm really proud to have beaten him.
And now you face the bad boy of poker, Phil Hellmuth. What are you prepared for?
I'm prepared for an exciting match. I'm really looking forward to this, and it's just going to be just a wonderful match. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you prepared for any tactics he might try to use to get under your skin?
Bring it on. Nothing's going to work. I'm just so happy right now. I've come off a big win a week ago, actually 3 days ago. Nothing can bring me down. Second place here is more than I expected coming in, so I'm just happy with second at least, but believe me, I'm going for first.
What is the best way to handle someone like Phil? Do you respond to his antics, or do you just try to...
He's probably not going to do anything. He knows he can't get to me. If he says anything or whatever, I'm just going to be stone-faced. I'm just going to ignore it completely, and that's the style I've adopted, and it works pretty well.
And Chris, have you thought about what you'll feel like if you win this tournament?
No, I haven't, but I know it'll be great. And I feel so wonderful already that hard to imagine getting better, but it will.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Chris, congratulations. A miracle win for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got lucky yet again. I hit a 9 of diamonds on the river this time. So what can you do?
What was going through your mind?
I really thought I was getting just about the right odds. There was $400,000 in the pot. There's another $400,000 to call. I thought, yeah, maybe I was getting a little bit the worst, but I decided to gamble and got lucky.
You thought for a long time before you pushed in. What did you think that Phil had?
I thought he actually might have a straight. And if he has a straight, I had the 9 of hearts, and that was key. If I didn't have the 9 of hearts, I'd fold there in a heartbeat. But with the 9 of hearts, it gave me a flush draw. Unfortunately, he had the ace of hearts, so he had a higher flush draw. So all my hard outs were dead. I had to catch either the 9 or the deuce to make a full house.
Was it any sort of satisfaction to you watching Phil so devastated?
No, it was a lot of satisfaction hitting the card on the river to stay in the match, of course. But no, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Thank you, Chris. Good luck. Good luck. Thank you. Phil, you basically had the tournament won. How do you come back from that terrible beat?
Well, I mean, if you want to be the best player in the world, you almost always have the best hand for the biggest pots. That's what I've done my whole life. Almost every time there's a huge pot, I have the best hand. Therefore, you're always a big favorite. So sometimes they beat you, and that's all there is to it. I think somewhere God's laughing me at a little bit. He's saying, Phil, I've given you everything in life, and you're whining because a guy hit a 4 out on you. So I just have to say, you're right, God. I'm blessed. I have to come back and just play my hardest, and it's going to be that much sweeter if I can pull it off.
Do you feel like this happens to you more than anyone else?